Hello, I am Jamila McMallow, and I am a mindset coach and relationship expert for high performing women. And I'm so happy to be here with you on this Wednesday. I'm talking about a topic that you may have found yourself dealing with at some point in your life, and that is kind of losing faith and trust in yourself, in your ability to make wise decisions, and specifically when it comes to choosing a good man or a man in general that maybe you thought was good, but then you realized he wasn't. So if that has been your situation, this video is definitely going to be for you. It's been over a decade now, but when I went through my divorce, I just recognized that all of the pain that I was experiencing uh, were the consequences of me having chosen poorly. And, once you choose poorly and you watch essentially your whole life kind of blow up in front of your face, you lose, really, you lose that trust and faith in yourself and your ability to make decisions. I can literally remember, praying because we know that free will is a gift from God. He gives us all the ability to choose our life. Our lives are not preordained or laid out, as like we're chess pieces on a board being moved around. No, we all have the ability to choose and to decide what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And based on those choices and decisions are the results or the life that we create. But after, when I was in that state, not too long after my divorce, I was feeling so just disappointed in myself that I literally prayed, like, I know free will is, a gift, but you can just take it from me because I don't know how to use it. I'm not doing it right. So I'm just gonna yield to you. You please just tell me what to do. I'm just gonna do what you tell me. That's all. I'm just gonna do whatever you tell me to do. I'm not thinking for myself anymore. I'm not doing anything for myself. Now, of course, later I came out of that and developed the proper view of free will, which is the fact that it's a gift. And so and even though I was in a painful state, and I know God understands that, and he understood that at the time, it was still disrespectful for me to not appreciate the gift of being able to choose and make decisions and really make my life whatever it is that I wanted it to be. Okay. But I just share that with you because I wanted you to understand like how far down the hole I got when it came to trusting myself, my ability to make wise choices and decisions. Because what's interesting is we will sometimes paint our lives with a brush. We'll take one bad decision and then conclude, well, I guess I don't know how to do anything right. you know, and that's because that one decision did affect our entire life, but it doesn't mean that every other decision that we've made was bad or wrong. And that was true in my case. I was not a person who historically made poor choices. Had I made mistakes? Have I made mistakes? Do I continue to make mistakes? Absolutely. Do I continue to get things wrong? A lot of things wrong? Sure. Perhaps not to that degree or magnitude. Okay. But the point is that I was not a person who was in the habit of making bad decisions and kind of causing chaos in my life and all of these different types of things. I made one poor choice many years prior that finally, after 14 years, caught up with me, and it ended up in a divorce. Now, primarily where this decision impacted me was in my confidence in feeling like I would know how to choose another man. I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. So, let's not even. Because one thing I recognized practically immediately after our marriage ended was that I never want to be in this position again. So I never want to choose someone who is going to cause my life to end up like this ever again. Okay, I don't want to choose someone like that ever again. So, what empowered me then to be able to find that faith and trust in myself again? Well, it was owning my choices. I had to own The fact that I chose him. I chose him. Nobody put a gun to my head and told me to marry him. In fact, people told me not to marry him, and I married him anyway. So, like I said, my consequences from my choices. But here's the thing. Here's what's powerful about owning our choices. Here's what's powerful about developing radical responsibility for where our life is and who we are attracting and who we are attracted to. It is empowering because if I chose him for whatever reason, I can determine what those reasons were, change them, and make sure that I never choose another man like that again, to make sure that the next time I choose wisely. And what was empowering about owning my choice and releasing the blame, because when you're in the hurt phase, yes, you're going to place blame and things like that. And yes, usually one person is primarily responsible for the marriage ending, and I wasn't the deal breaker. However, it doesn't mean that I was a perfect wife. And it doesn't mean that there weren't things that I needed to change about myself if I wanted to be successful in a new relationship. Okay. So what I'm saying is that I recognized that I had to own my choice. And when I did that, I understood that I needed to get crystal clear on what exactly it was that I wanted in a new relationship. I needed to change my thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in relationships as well so I could contribute to a healthy relationship. And I had to actually learn, what does a healthy relationship look like if I never seen one, never been in one? I mean, come on, Sometimes we want things that we've never seen, not even in our imagination. I wrote a post where I talked about how we can't have anything that we can't see. And that doesn't mean we had to have literally seen it in real life, but in our imagination. And so if you've never seen a healthy relationship in person, you probably never really truly imagined what one would look like either. It's almost like you have no frame of reference. And so because you can't see it, you haven't experienced it, you can't have it. So you have to learn, taking the knowledge so that you learn what that looks like, begin to envision it, and then you can become that. You can create it for yourself. But by me empowering myself with the knowledge and the skills and the mindsets and doing the healing work to unravel the ball of yarn that led me into that relationship in the first place, I was able to regain my confidence and have certainty that I was going to be able to choose wisely when it came to the next relationship that I was going to be in, that I would be able to choose wisely and choose a good man, and not only choose a good man, but attract a good man, because that's really step one. Sometimes we can know, okay, I don't want to be with this guy, but it seems like the only guys that keep showing up are guys like this. Okay, so that's a clue. That's a clue that you have a pattern, for the type of man that you are attracted to, that is attracted to you. And guess what? I've talked about this in other videos, but I'm going to share it again. That's happening all on a subconscious level. So I knew that I had to change those underlying beliefs, those underlying things, those things that came out of childhood and childhood trauma that told me what was true and possible for me in relationships with men. I had to undo all of that, develop a new set of beliefs so that I then could therefore attract what I now believe to be true and possible for myself. Sometimes we make decisions like in our 20s, we're making decisions unconsciously. We don't even know. We don't even know that it's all the stuff we picked up from our parents, from our community, from our schooling, from our childhood, all these things that's actually driving the choices and decisions that we're making in our life on a subconscious level. We don't get that. But then at some point we wake up or something happens, like with me, a divorce, and we realize, yo, I think I'm actually my biggest problem. So I think I need to focus some energy and attention on me and do some serious work on up in here. So the title of the video is Trust Yourself. I want you to know that when you lose trust in yourself and in your ability to choose wisely when it comes to a man, and some of you might have said, well, I'm just not going to date anybody because these guys out here are X, Y, and Z. That has nothing to do with the pool of men. It has to do with you. You don't trust that you're going to be able to choose wisely. You don't trust that you're going to be able to attract, or you don't trust the fact that a good man actually does exist. Okay? But when you lose trust in yourself in this area, it doesn't just impact this one lane. It impacts other areas. You will hold back from making financial decisions. You will hold back from investing in yourself, especially when it comes to like personal development and coaching. You won't do it because you won't trust yourself to make a wise decision when it comes to choosing a mentor or a coach. You're thinking, what if I invest all this money and I get scammed? Or what if I invest all this money and I don't get any results? Trust yourself. Empower yourself with the knowledge and information that you need to be able to choose wisely. It's just not applicable when it comes to men. It's applicable in every area of your life. When you go to buy a car, you do not just walk in the dealership, or maybe you do and maybe you shouldn't anymore. Just walk in the dealership with no idea, of what I want and how much it costs. No, you need to have already done your research about the car you want, the Kelly Blue Book price on your trade-in, or if you're buying a used car, what are the values? All of those things, do your research. So when you show up to the dealership, you are in a what? An empowered state and prepared to make a wise decision, not to be influenced by what you're just being told, but that you've shown up ready to see things for what they are and what's happening so that you're able to pick the car that's right for you. So that's just another example. But again, you have to trust yourself. You have to build that faith in yourself. And like I explained to you, the way that I was able to do that was honestly through owning my choices and taking responsibility for them. And then recognizing that if I made the decision, and if I'm the only person I can always and only ever control, then that means I have the power to think, feel, and believe differently, and therefore choose differently next time. I am not at the whim and will of anybody else. I get to decide. And so now that I'm conscious, I can make a conscious, wise decision when it comes to men, when it comes to money, when it comes to investing and working with a coach, when it comes to buying a car, or whatever it is that you're choosing to do. Okay? Because like I said, if you have had a life-altering experience because of a choice that you made, and I mean like negative consequences, then it will cause you to second guess yourself in other areas of your life. And what I'm telling you is you can trust yourself again, and you must trust yourself again. Because in order to get back to the place to where you need to be, in order to have a healthy, fulfilling relationship with a good man, in order to enjoy a wonderful, beautiful, long-lasting marriage to a good man who loves and appreciates you, who provides and protects, supports, leads lovingly, you have to get to the place to where you trust yourself, to where you trust yourself to be able to attract a good man, to trust yourself to be able to choose the right man, to trust yourself to know that your standards are high enough and that someone is going to meet them, and to trust yourself that if and when he does hurt you, because even if he's a great man and you have a wonderful marriage, we're all imperfect and we're going to make mistakes. He may not commit any life-altering mistakes, but he's going to say and do things that are going to get on your nerves. But you're going to trust yourself enough to know that that's not going to break you, that you're going to be okay. And even if you start a relationship with a man that seems to have all the qualities that you were looking for, and you find out that It's not what you thought it was. You have to trust yourself to know that you're going to have the courage to walk away from that relationship, because you're going to have the courage to know if it wasn't him, it's going to be somebody better. That's what I tell all my clients. If it's not him, it's going to be somebody better. Because I have a client, she actually met a guy shortly after we started working together. And to be honest with you, I really prefer my clients to meet men towards the end of our time together, or after we've been working together for at least a few months, because the mindset shifts and healing work and things that we've done are powerful and create huge results. And so they become someone different. Okay. And so who they are when we start and who they become are two different women. But here's the beautiful thing is she started that relationship and it was the healthiest relationship she had ever been in up to that point. But as we continued working together and then concluded our work together, she was a completely different person. And over time, as the relationship progressed, she began to see that he was not the man that she really wanted, that she was compromising too many of the non-negotiable standards that she had already created and set for herself when we worked together. And so she, even though it meant that she was going to be alone, even though it meant that she was no longer going to have the friendship with this man, even though she knew it was going to hurt, she ended the relationship. She chose wisely. Because in that case, the choice was choosing herself, her peace, her future. And nothing about the relationship was toxic or anything like that, but he just was not the person that was right for her, for where she had grown to. And so she was able to make the wise choice and end the relationship, even though it was hard. And so choosing wisely in relationships can also involve, sometimes you have to say no. You have to end it. They weren't married, they were just dating. So, we date, or I deal with women who are dating for the intention and purpose of being married. I don't coach women who just want to be out here in the streets and doing diddly doo, whatever, jumping from one relationship to the next. No, that's not what I do. It's never what I have done. I have coached over 100 women on healing from divorce and having better relationships with men. I've been coaching and mentoring in a variety of professional settings for over 20 years. I'm a certified CBT practitioner, so I am not a novice or an amateur at this work that I do. Okay. And so I'm not dealing with women who just are out here looking for tips and tricks and want to play games. I work with women who are serious about finding the last man they're ever going to date, the man that's going to become their husband, and empowering them with the knowledge, information, skill set, and mindsets they need to create that result in their life. And I love it, because it is my belief that every good woman who wants to be married to a good man should be. The only barrier to her having it is what's going on in here. And so that's the work that we do, so that she can have what it is that she wants. And I love it. And so trust yourself. You can learn how to trust yourself again. Own your choices. Own your choices and know that the consequences are on you, because you chose him. You chose that man and you got hurt. Forgive yourself, though. Don't sit there and blame and self-pity. No. I said own it, and then be committed to changing the reasons why you were drawn to him in the first place, so that those reasons no longer exist and draw you to somebody else that's just like him. You change you and you attract a higher caliber man, have a healthy relationship, and you choose wisely and go forth and live the life that exceeds your dreams and expectations. Okay? So I would love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to share them in the comments. And yeah, thank you for joining me today. And I will see you next time.